Hello, Lipscomb Academy Middle School family. Thanks for tuning in to this first video of a series of videos that I'm going to try to do this year on technology. When we began our iPad initiative during the year 13-14, we had our hands full with just trying to get that off the ground and get our students using the iPads and educating our teachers and our students about the best way to use that. When reflecting at the end of last year, we realized that a component that was missing was some parent education, and there are going to be a few different ways that we're going to attempt to address that this year. This first video's title is, What Does Technology Say About You? So I'm mainly talking in this short video about parent use of technology. We are a school that embraces that, but we know that home and school connection is significant in the success or potential success for your children, and that's why we want to address this issue with you and say, you know, how distracted are you with technology, and what does that really mean for your family? I can't go any further without saying that I own several devices myself, from an iPad and an iPhone and a MacBook and another laptop. I have plenty of devices to distract me as well. So as I say things to you, I know I struggle with this. I also know that I like to eat dinner with friends when they're not distracted by their devices, and so I know that it can be how it feels to want to compete for time with family and friends. When I say, what does technology you say about you, I get that from the feeling that we're a society that's constantly plugged in. And if we're constantly plugged in, the message that some researchers are saying that our children are getting from that is that that's more important than they are. And their struggle to gain the attention of their parents is both exhausting and frustrating. They feel like it's almost sibling rivalry. And some of the things I have read, it's really strongly, paired with that same feeling, because our children are constantly rivaled a device for what they need, and the outcome of that is pretty profound in some anxiety and insecurity. And we know that our students, our children, model their parents so much of what they do and the decisions that they and choices that they make. And so you want to be setting a very good example for your children during this very important time in their life at this age in middle school. If you are a parent that struggles with mixed messages, and I think we've all been there at some point in our lives and in our parenting, really struggled with saying one thing and doing another. If you're totally honest, you will admit that you have struggled with that at times. And so you don't want your 14-year-old to grow up and be a distracted driver. You don't want them to text and drive, but yet there comes a time that you're at the stop sign or you're driving down the road and you're texting and you're saying, I'm just doing it for this reason or whatever, but yet you would not want them to do that. Or maybe you don't want them, tuning in or staying plugged in, but yet you're giving them rules about that, but those are rules that you constantly break. And so you really need to ask yourself, am I giving mixed messages to my children about my use of technology and what I hope for them? Now, of course, there's the obvious, and that is that you're the adult. And you can use that card. You can say that to your children many times, but the truth of the matter is they're watching you. Educators in middle and high school often say that children of these ages can spot a hypocrite a mile away. And it's just true. They really can. It's like if you say one thing and do another, they're going to spot it immediately. So my advice to you would be very clear about what you want your child to do. There is a great book that I recommend for you that another parent actually recommended to me last year, called The Big Disconnect. And I spent the month of June this past summer really reading that book and studying some of the things that were written. It's written by Dr. Catherine Steiner Adair. And she's a psychologist out of Harvard. And she says in that book that she interviewed 1,000 children from ages 4 to 18. And one of the many things that she just could not get past was the exhaustion and the frustration of these children who felt like they were always competing for their parents' attention. And we even hear that here at school. A child will say to us, well, she's always on her phone. My mom's always on her phone, so she won't really know what my homework is. My dad is always texting the office. He checks his email constantly, so he's too busy to help me with my homework. So we hear that a lot here at school. So I really believe in Dr. Adair's interviews that she did with 1,000 children that they're really struggling with this. There was another study that was out the last 6 months from the Journal of Pediatrics, and Dr. Jenny Radisky wanted to find out how common it was for parents to sit and use their mobile devices while out to dinner with their family. And what she found from observing 60 different families were that 40 checked their email or texted or used their mobile device at least a few times during one meal. And even 16 of those 60 were pretty much on their phone constantly. And after reading this study, I did my own observation when I'm out and watched that. And I have to say that that's totally true. And I think it goes to show us that we need to spend some time thinking about what does our own technology use say about us and communicate to our families. The summary here is carve out time with your children without devices. You might even sit down and make your own family rules and include yourself. If you're a parent with both a mom and a dad, you might open that up to both of you and be very honest with your children in a family meeting. What does mom and dad need to do specifically, and what do you as our children need to do and to follow specifically? If you have a station at home, put yourself on a monitoring system and see if you can cut down the use of your time at home on your devices. You passed this way one time, and I would urge all of you to seek out this time with your children without distraction and really enjoy them during this time in their life. Thanks so much for tuning in to our first technology video of this school year.